Okay. We'll deal with the focusing bots for a second. The bots will go away. Okay. Hello, Authentic. How was your Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas? Okay. So, being that it is the holidays and that I am still working this week, I'm going to continue my efforts of just tidying up the UI a little bit. I'm trying to get. I was messing with the changes. I wanted to display the changes. Hi, important guy. How you doing? So the changes. When I say the changes, I mean things like these. So I wanted to make these not have a big list of GUIDs when I do things. So like requirements removed, right? It should say comments added. Status should show. That's a weird one. I'm not sure why status changed. So the way that I do this right this second, and you know, weather's miserable. Oh dear. I have I don't think it's too bad here. I think it's dry right this second. But it is currently... Oh, it's not going to be dry for the next week. Ugh. We're about to have miserable weather. But today, though, we are going to have a high of 39 Fahrenheit. Currently 23 Fahrenheit. Which is like... -5 Celsius. There you go. So let me go into this. So the way changes works is on the server, when you change, so I make a change to a planning item, it goes through to the planning API. The planning API updates the actual planning item and then publishes the event that the planning item, here's what the planning item looks like now. Changes picks that up and calculates what changed on the planning item, whether it be requirements were added, whether it be a review date changed, etc. It then publishes a message to say, here's, for this object, here's what changed. Pipeline picks that up and adds some extra detail. It says, okay, well, the user that changed it, here's the user that changed it. The source user, here's some extra detail. Right now it will work out if there's projects, it'll calculate the project names in here. I think that's pretty much it right this second. And then it publishes an improved message again back to Kafka, and now the view consumes that, right? The reason being, if we wanted to make a report of all the things that changed in a day, or wanted to do something else with this, I don't have any knowledge of what I want in the future. However, I do want this piece to be disconnected from this piece, so there's no harm in having these separate, but I do get all the benefits of having a distributed piece there. So now this publishes out more detailed information. Now the view picks that up. And when it comes down to the client, he says with confidence, there we go, it was there. It comes down to the client as a list of changes, and those changes have the data, which is the actual JSON serialized change, right? So the changes are just headers, and then here's the user that made the change and whatnot. So this change here is what I'm using on this screen, and a single change could have many pieces to it, I believe is how I've set it up. All for the same day. Maybe I group it on the server. No, I don't. So that's one change. Oh yeah, because it's to the same object. So if those changes hit the server in the same time frame, it will calculate them as one change. So comments. The computer needs a bit of sleep. Yeah, so that's interesting. Comments before and after, it was null and now it's empty array. That's quite interesting. I don't know how to deal with that one. Means I've set it somewhere. Maybe that's not a realistic thing, so we won't touch that one right now. Because it's instinctive because it's a display thing to react to it as a display thing. But what I should do is go back and track this and see if that's actually intended behavior. If it is, then the display thing is the right thing. However, I shouldn't just, my knee-jerk reaction should not be to automatically make the display handle that, because then I hide the problem, right? I hide the fact that it can happen, when what I should do is address the server side potentially, where the server side doesn't automatically default that to an array. If it's null, it's null. It publishes a null. I'm changing that there for no reason. Requirements, that is legit. There was 2 requirements before, now there's 1 requirement. Then the name changed from null to preparing. So that should show there. So that should change from, that's why it doesn't have the concept of null. So let's do that. So the way this is built is I have a changes component, which is the overall layout, and then it will take all the changes and for each change, it will, yeah, this is the timeline component. For each change, it will do this piece, and each change is a changes list, which now has knowledge of what types, so it can look them up. And then in here, for each of those types, each of those change types, I suppose, it can use a different control. So I've built these different controls out. So display collection difference change knows how to deal with this is what's getting picked up here and here. So this knows the requirement was removed, right? This one shouldn't show anything right now. I don't want to touch that, but this one should show from blank to preparing. Now, because status is not in here, it's getting defaulted to the default change component, right? Where from before, right? So let's create a method. Uh, value or see. I think that's what I want. Unset to preparing. Unset? That doesn't sound right. That's readable though, from unset to preparing. From unset to that makes sense why the comment. So what was happening is I was trying to before change comments to use display collection difference change component, and it just broke everything. And now I understand why, because it's just not correct. As I get people testing the application, right? As people using the application more, I want people to be able to not have to struggle through some of the common things, right? So, yeah, I'm not sure about whether I want to do it this way. I might want to do this as I think I might do, and then div class text small. From onset to preparing. If we do, yeah, see that's the problem. Concept to priority. Do. Yeah, see that's what I don't want to display, right? So if I do go here and change comments to do that, and then you click on that last one, requirements removed, requirements added, comments added, comments added, comments added. There you go. Although I added a lot of comments in there. Yeah, I did. So there's the weird scenario associated projects as well. That was broken in that one. Associated projects. So there are cases where I do have the data, so things like and I will have it for other things. Associated project added. Eventually, I'll probably calculate the actual projects. So they'll go back to a collection component, because then when we do the change to collection, will show, oh, it was added to these projects, it was added to the removed from these projects, etc. There we go. Okay, that's a bit more readable at least. I'm going to leave the other thing in because if it happens, people will report it as a bug if they're paying attention to the changes. But this is a little bit easy to understand. Now, changes are not calculated until much later, so it's not something I can make the client have appear. I could insert a record to say it's pending, but I'm not going to mess around with that. Yeah. So let's go and commit this. Let's do this. Create. It is, they're the same length, and that's it right this second. So if you add one and remove one, then it'll be updated rather than added or removed, which is not correct. But again, I want to make that change occur in the changes system, so this all gets overhaul. This is just making this a little bit more apparent. So as people are testing this, this isn't going to hold them up with the GUIDs, and they don't have to worry about that. Content now, I don't understand that. Okay, we got this, and now we're gonna do update changes to display data a little more clearly. Take off Sona keyboard, it's called. Especially while I'm not following great standards. Okay, so that's that. I still have on my list to do consistency, so let's have a look over here. You still on? You are still on. Okay. So this is the actual test machine, the actual Liquid Sky. Right this second. So I've got it on my list to do a few. From the Geek. Thank you very much for 13 months. Merry Christmas. Hope you're well today. Hope you had a good day yesterday. Oh, Um, what I was doing here is I'm tracking 4 requirements of correct eventual consistency issues. Again, as people tinker with the application, right? And if you're a subscriber, you are welcome to uh, sign up. Yep, all good. Nice line this morning. Got up about an hour ago. I've been turning around trying to get the house in some order. Yeah, order. That'd be nice. I have a I have a work day today. It'll be slow, but still got a work day. Hoping to kind of get my consoles organized for the new year. I might do some gaming. Um, so I got the GameCube, the Saturn, and the 3DO configured, and I got a multi AV switch, so I can get them set up. I just need to get some shelving or something to put them on properly, because right now they're just sat on a desk and it's cluttered and it's annoying even me. So I need a solution um, that fits in my room. I'd like to maybe play some games for New Year's. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I've got the AV switch, so I can plug them into it. Um, well, 2 out of the 3, because one of them is a S video, and that plugs directly into the. There's actually what is it? Oh, using terms to describe AV stuff. But basically, I saw the other day there's a company that's planned these plug and play AV adapter things, so you can chain them together and just plug them in, and they kind of have a bus that and you can pick and choose what pieces. So if you want an S video piece and an RCA piece and a SCART piece, you can do that, and you can plug them all together. Um, I really like that idea because ultimately what I want to do is have a cabinet with all the consoles in and have all the AV wired behind, AV and power wired behind. So it comes up to one AV unit. I've got a feeling I know what you're about to show me. Yeah, you see that can't work. A, because those things are flimsy over time. And B, the consoles are all such different sizes that I can't do that. I have to have something customized or something with much bigger shelves. I've considered them before. But yeah, if you get um, an original Xbox is 12.5 by 4 inches by 10.5 inches. Those boxes, if memory serves, are less than 12 inches once the wood's taken into account. But either way, it's still too big. So, but they're all too heavy as well. So what happens is the shelves rack over time. Oh, they're 13 inches now. Whereas I have nowhere to put that because whatever I have, I've got to build into my overall. But ultimately, what I want is something like that. Yeah, I always thought they were 12 inches. The fact that the Xbox One is only 12 inches is amazing. But yeah, there's um because of the different sizes of all the consoles, it's a little bit more difficult. So putting some, well, the PlayStation 3 for certain, but it's just pure weight as well. So I'm looking to do something that ultimately I can have them all set up and be able to use them that way. But yeah, for right now, I've got 3 consoles configured. I want to be able to use them. So I'm looking at AV options, but I can't remember the name of it, and now it's bugging me because I was signed up to be reminded. Will I find it? It looked really cool. Like little modules that just click together, which would be perfect because then I could have the modules for the consoles I've got set up and then have a row of those go into a row of others and then have it all pipe up to one output. Would be cool. Okay, so back on Liquid Sky. So last week I fixed. We did do fix UI consistency. No, fix UI consistency. We said we'd do this by Tuesday. Slacker. Comments weren't refreshing. That change I just pushed actually has some more pieces to it as well, which means I should be able to go to here and delete that. Yeah, I just went into headlamp and deleted the image. 12 this console. Gotta fix that. I have no idea how to fix that. It drives me crazy, but I don't have much of an option right this second. So that should have. Oh no. The problem with not being able to do this is going to be tough. Or did I not do it on this one? No, disable cache. It's trying to figure out all the things I need to fix. Like, so that one is the gateway or something has routing rules, and I have no idea how to get it to take the fact that if I've got anything after the URL that isn't GraphQL or isn't API, that it will go to the client, not the 404. So when you refresh, it should route back to the app and then work, but it doesn't do it, and I have no idea how to fix that. And I've tried all sorts so far. So this is the client has not built. I pushed it, I swear. Yeah, I pushed it. So it probably just didn't take the latest image. That's not really a big problem, but ultimately that will change as well. So so I made changes last week to get the comments and the requirements and the stuff loading. But now we've got some eventual consistency issues, and this requirements button actually goes missing every now and then. Like now it's gone missing. So if I go back here now and go there, it's still there, but Dota had it where he clicked in here and it disappeared. So yeah. When you add a new planning item, so if we go over to this one, when you add a new planning item, this is a problem. Adding new planning item for testing. This is adding. It won't be available. 12, 20, 12, 25. No. assign it to Jeffrey, create. So when that saves, you see it goes down here. If I click it now, it'll display nothing because it's on that round trip, right? So it's saving that to the planning items. The planning items publishes the event. The event gets picked up and handled and then published to the view. So when I click on it, I'm going to the view. And the problem is I need to turn things off to test this, but now it's there because it's actually gone. The round trip has happened, right? So it's ready for me to actually view. It's okay for me to click immediately and see it off the data I'm storing locally because it's not I have all the information that I need. I can add requirements because I've got the ID of this thing, right? So I can still show it. That's okay. And yeah, I'm not making branches for all these. I'm trying to fix them. What I'm trying to do is get it tightened up enough that it's ready for people to play with. And once it's ready for people to play with, I can then go back, tidy up the release pipeline a bit more, get back to real branches and normalize everything again so that I'm not. The problem is I don't want to be fixing some of these things and going through the entire process when because that takes away my ability to react to small things like this. And this is small, right? Once it's stable enough to play with and we can do the planning with it, then we'll go through that planning effort. And then the first step will be to get this back into agree upon the release pipeline and how things happen and get those tightened up going into the new year. And then plan developers.stream. So when you click a planning item, so when you add a planning item, it's still in forms. It adds it to. When we hit submit, it calls add on the planning item. And when it finishes that, it goes and resets the form and then hides the form, right? Planning item store. So add planning item goes to add the planning item. It then patches the state of the store and adds the entity for planning item, right? We've essentially constructed a planning item on the other side, right? A title, a description, a review, an assigned user, the projects, etc. They've all been handled. We set the status, we set the identifier, and that's enough. Don't have ads are going to start in a few minutes. So I know it's in the store. Planning item last. I'll test something. I think that might actually do. The problem is that the only way I can do these is adding new planning items. Another planning item to test. Adding a planning item. So what I can do is I can shut down the view receiver, and that'll stop me from receiving any changes on the view. So the messaging will still happen in the back end up to here, but nothing will get in here, which means that I'll never see it, which means that now when I create something, I don't have to keep adding new items to test this behavior. I can test the behavior now completely independently. Adding a planning item that won't load to verify. So the view is not shut down. I can still query the view, but this item will never be there. Let's see. This item 12/27/2024. Jeffrey. Okay, so let's create the item. So it exists here. It will only get put in here when there is when it's actually got an ID. Right. So now I click this. Is that failing? Cannot read properties of null reading last updated. Should patch state. Oh, there we go. I've got it to change. I got the behavior changed. Interesting. One of the things I just did on the comments, which I should do here as well, is when I did the comments feature, I actually got the user service as well, and I set the created by user, which I should probably do in this one. Let's add that in there. Planning items right, planning items coming, and let's do that because that's me anyway. Right. Await the user. Planning item dot created. Why is this not giving me IntelliSense anymore? This is annoying. By user equals. Oh, I've got it there. That's not a. This is not a. Is it a user? That's a different kind of user, though. That is not a user. That's an auth user. That's interesting. That's a blurry API. Might have to distinguish between the two, or differentiate rather than distinguish, because I've got a feeling that thinks that's a different type of user. Yeah, you see that once. Yeah, it was blurry. It was thinking because yeah. Interesting. I mustn't have had the issue over here because of something else. Huh. No. Just didn't have that problem there. Okay. So this will allow me to at least have that information. Now, again, I'm still stuck on this one. Oh no. That one's disappeared off into the ether now. Because the screen refreshed. Ugh, I'm still going to end up creating a bunch of them. Testing, adding item. This is an item. What's added? 12, 27, 28, 24. Assigned to. All right. So when I click it, I get an error, and that error is item status feature should patch state. Interesting. Okay. So current is this. So this is the one I just added, right? So it's got everything it needs. Last updated. That method's wrong. Okay, so I don't have updated because there's nothing coming back, which means that I shouldn't patch state. So it's just, this logic is incorrect. If I set the date time to now, when I do the last updated, when it hits the server, that last updated is coming from there. So when it comes round, that updated should be in the future. So it should always then load that one. And then in the future, when I click on the item, it's not going to go and it's going to pull the information still, but it's just not going to use it. That's one of the things I need to figure out the better pattern for, where basically I say, okay, can I have this item and here's the date of, and if that date is greater than the date on the server, it just doesn't return the data. Save that transfer. I can't think of a better pattern there. One line did mention something last week, and I need to dig deeper into that when it comes to it, but it's kind of keeping that track of that. So should patch state is when I click on the item. If the store is current, no, that's not that one. Load all. Set current planning item. Okay, here we go. So if the ID is undefined, then we patch the state as blank and resolve and return, right? So we're clearing out the item, right? So the idea here is that I'm tracking the currently selected item so that I can do other actions like get comments and requirements based upon the item I have set. I did a lot of refactoring on this to get to this point, but I'm not sure whether this will remain this way, and I really do want to learn more about how to write better signal code. However, it's just practice right now because I'm starting from this documentation, which is a bunch of code samples tied together with a few comments. So I think this assumes that I understand how all this works in great detail, and I'm applying that same knowledge to this. So yeah, BBB took a good amount of time showing my team through signal store, NGRX, and state management stuff a long time ago, and it was really awesome. But I've probably forgotten more about that than and the actions and the reducers and all those things. They just, yeah, with signal stores you don't have all that. With signal stores you basically what this is doing is it's separating the server from the client. Right? The client interacts with the store, the store, how the store gets its data or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's pulling the data together there. You can react to signals in it. So if things change, you can react to them and do all those sorts of things. So I think that's kind of like the reducers and effects and stuff in NGRX. So what I'll need to do here is this should patch state assumes that I'm getting updated back. So if current, so let me just figure this out from scratch, not using that logic, right? So if current and not updated, return false, right? If not current and updated, return true. Yeah. Actually, that can be that. If not current or not updated. No. No, hold on. If current, so I have one on the client and updated and not updated, return false because I can't update what is I don't have. If I don't have current and updated, return true because I need to take what's there. If they're both empty, things have gone very badly wrong and I want it to throw up. So I don't want to even handle that case. That's a lie to extent to do that. But now to get here, oh, that's why it's guarding against the fact that one of them can still potentially, both of them can still potentially be null because I could get here. But no, current can't be null for that, and updated can't be null for this. So if we get here, they're both not null, right? So then we do this. Well, that is that, and that is that. Let's try. Okay, create another one as well. Creating another item for testing. Why is that on? Just dawned on me there's something wrong there. Hello, buddy. Hello. Hello, my friend. I got visitors. Okay, I'll be right back. I just need to let these guys out. Right back. Okay, sorry about that. Back. Okay, so adding another item 12, 24, 2024. Something just dawned on me as well. The date range is not working as it should. So if I do that, click on that now, we should. Yay! It displays immediately. So that hasn't made the round trip. But I should still be able to click on it time and time again, right? I should still see this. I can actually change this. I can actually update it, adding another item. This is updated after the fact. I can add a requirement. Adding requirements should work. I should be able to add a requirement to something that is pending updates on the server. Now, if I refresh the screen, this goes away, which is a problem, right? But that's one I'm going to have to learn about, like what patterns there are. Is there some sort of persistent storage on the client? I don't think there is. Like I have not done that sort of stuff before in this volume. So yeah. Now attachments should work. No pictures of me. Desktop. It's quick to. No, let's not mess around with. I'll test uploads later. We should be able to add a comment. Adding a comment works fine. It's funny, the more I go through this, the more I realize that I really, really do need to spend some time going through and getting tests on the client in, because this is going to be one little thing can push other things out, and it's just going to make a bigger mess if I don't tackle that at some point. But either way, now that item works. So we've fixed another problem, right? So you can now work on something straight after creating it, and it will work fine, which is yeah. Now, if I refresh, like I said, so on the server, that's what it's going to behave like, but it doesn't. You get a 404, right? The item's now gone. If I re-enable the view receivers, right, all that information should reappear. He says with confidence. And the brokers have to kick into gear, I think. Yeah, there's one. That's the first one we added. There's the other one. There's the other one. Okay. There's the update. We added comments. We added requirements. It knows they're there. It just hasn't integrated them yet. That's funny. It knows the changes are there. Huh. Huh. Did that break somewhere along the lines? I've got the whole fun of figuring out how to get metrics, insights, all those things added as well coming along, right? So there's a whole lot of stuff that I've got to do in the new year just to try and give insights into the application. So once it's running, that's one thing. But being able to say, oh, this is breaking, this isn't working fine, having a dashboard of some form that I can go to say, okay, the application's stable, things are running properly, or there's a lag here. Like, this is great and all, but I would like this metricized so I can pull it through into a better tool, a dashboard that I can log into and say, oh, there's lag on a topic or whatever. So, you know, that's a challenge. I have to create new projects as well so I can separate out. Yeah, if you are new to the stream, and I've been generally quiet about that. If you're new to the stream and you have questions about what I'm doing, you're interested, or you just, you know, you're curious, you're more than welcome to ask. There's no. This is not a stream that is purely focused on getting development done. So feel free. Okay, so we had requirements 5 minutes ago. Adding a requirement to something that is pending updates on. So okay, so the requirement got through. So I wonder if the view was just slow to update. And eventual consistency is something that I'm going to have to deal with time and time and time again, right? The reason I'm refreshing is to make sure I don't, like, I have the last updated. So, yeah. Why is it not appearing? So we have the requirement. Consumer groups, members, coordinator. I see no lag there. Oh, notifications integration. That's interesting that that's lagging, but notifications collects changes and is meant to do something with them. So, but everything else is up to date. So let's check on the database. That's what I was doing before. Close all tabs. I want to do avoid KS at this point. So the Kubernetes stuff, I now need to be careful because people are using that to test with. And I don't want to risk exposing some data that they harmlessly add, thinking it's useful. This is testing the requirement will show immediately. So it didn't consume it. So why didn't it consume it? Oh, please tell me this is not a view consumers. Insert null. Well, that was on planning items. Update fails. Planning items is not allowed. No, I didn't have a null planning item. What are you talking about? Title, 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 title. That's 5 days ago anyway. Not now. Hold on. Eight minutes ago. title, title, title. It knows the requirements there, and it knows the comments there. So the data is right coming out of the planning items. The data is just not consistent on the. So if I go to tables, go to requirements, make sure that that isn't there. Nope. So this is, the comment was regarding the it'll show up when it adds. Again, if you have insights into how to handle some of these things, I'm always open to learning. Like if there's techniques or methods I can use to cache the data appropriately, or to, or if there's techniques I should use to deal with this. This is something I'm deeply interested in tightening up and making ever more stable. However, should, yeah, it's definitely not. It's not pulled those requirements. But why would it accept out on planning item? Can it assert no value? Declare exchange planning item was updated. So when a planning item actually gets updated, it actually does publish a service bus message, so that notifications can be sent. Actually, why is that? The receiver's view does that. This is one of the pieces I want to decide if I want to clean that up a bit. Receiver's view does that so that they publish the notifications. The website side of things can push the notification down. That's going to change. I'm going to move some of that around a bit. But either way, this was not what I expected it to be. Is that so deep down that I don't have any of my code left? Yeah. It's not an uncommon thing. The conversion of date time too. How there you go. See, these errors get swallowed, and that's the problem for them, right? So that my likelihood is that if I go over here, go to requirements on this side, adding requirements should work. Oh, this one, yeah, adding requirements should work. So this last one should come through. Data gets pushed, right? So in this case, I've pushed the data out. It's breaking. I do need some alerting on the global system to tell me that things are not working properly, but it doesn't stop this data from not being there. Now, my planning item system is a source of truth. That's what I focus on. So everything that goes into planning items, I save. I get there as quickly as possible. I do little to no logic. If there's calculations and stuff that needs to be done, those are a reaction to the data saving, not before the data gets saved. So the first priority of any save is capturing the data that's necessary. Other things can be triggered, other things can happen once that data is saved, but I've got the data. That's why once you save something, if you see, generally, if you're testing this, by the way, if you add something and you see that an item appear or whatever, it's even if it disappears, it's saved in the database. It's just not updating the UI, right? Whether it be eventual consistency, whether it be a bug like this where these should be showing, but they're not showing because something's gone wrong with the data. But the data has saved, right? If this same pattern applies, right? If I add a new requirement now here and it shows here, it's definitely saved. If it doesn't show later like this, then there's a problem with the pipeline. And those are the things I need to alert on. Those are the things I need to make myself more aware of to understand, like the system's running fine, the system's not running fine, because it looks correct, but it's not. I'm going to test adding another requirement while this is now valid. Adding a requirement while valid. The item is where this requirement should show. So the fact that it shows here says that the server saved that one. Now, if I refresh, it will likely go away because it's not. Again, I'm not dealing with those patterns of, oh, I've got it on the client, the server says different. When I click on this now, it goes to the server, gets the requirements, and the requirements are missing, right? So, um, again, just this is where you lose a lot of time. Once you start getting into the weeds of this sort of stuff, this is where it gets a little harder, and you realize all the little bits that come to making an application not just workable, but fully functional. Now, does that requirement make it through? And I forgot I just saw them. Hey, maybe. It's going well. How about you? Adding a requirement while valid. Okay, so that should come through. Let's go over here. Requirements. So requirements are published separately because of the sheer amount of text. So this published. Not bad, not bad. Just tinkering before work today. I did. It felt a bit weird because it's just like a Wednesday and work the next day, but it was good. Good. I like making the food. So made some roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey. Good. But yeah. If I ever run my own company, at the very least, we get Boxing Day. Can move to Canada. Canada has Boxing Day. Uh-huh. Eh. uh, okay. That's that. That's that. So the planning item published. Did the view receive this yet? So again, things can take a while. Requirements. No. Let's restart that once more. Let's see if. Well, there's no lag. The lag is the telling thing. So it just has errored receiving consumer groups. LS view integration. Lag 1. It's got a requirement lag. Okay. So it just needs to catch up on that one. Is that lag? It knows about it. It's just got to get it. But if it errored before, okay, let's make sure this one goes through. So the way we're going to test this one is we're going to go to application, view, receivers, configuration, receivers. We're going to put a breakpoint in the requirements receiver. And then we are going to stop the receivers running. Then going to go in here and consumer groups here. Scooby Stacks, hello, how you doing? How's things? I'm going to go back here. I'm going to set this back to 89, I believe. One, two, three. We're just going to update that until that. Yes, they stack. There you go. Okay, so now I've reset the consumer group to have a lag of 3. So I'm going to make it replay those messages, and I want to put a breakpoint on and see if there's an error in saving that data. So now when I run this again, it should pick this up in a minute. Again, when I start to pick up the application development again, doing things like putting open telemetry in here, putting warnings in when because what happened there was it kills the thread because I've got no try catches deliberately in there. It does kill that thread for that topic, so it wasn't receiving anything else. So that the likelihood this could work. It might have been an earlier error that picked it up, but we'll see. Okay, so I want to go into here. Right. Connie, thank you very much for the resub. Appreciate it. A year. 12 months of subs. Thank you. Existing. Okay, so we got the do we have the requirement? No, we don't. So we're not updating it. It's null, so let's add a requirement. Has a title. So the worst that could happen, this is highly important. So the worst that could have happened there is I replayed the message of one that I'd already seen and marked it as updated. Although I should be checking dates at this point. Apply acquired values. That's an interesting method. Okay, so we have a created by user, a planning item. Oh, okay. I know what that means now. Yeah. Progress is okay. I'm just trying to tighten up some of the little pieces, so that as people start to test the application, there's none of the little annoying bugs. I'm just trying to tighten it up a little bit so I don't have a lot of people, whoever's testing it, be like, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, and as new people try and test it, like, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. I want to tighten those little pieces up. Okay, so that one looks like it worked. Let's get in there. It's new again. New again. This is going to work, isn't it? Oh, that one might have failed. So I'll reset it 3 times. So if we go here now, they're still not there. Oh no, adding a requirement more valid. If we go back to the UI, there you go. So they worked. So again, the exception, I need to get on top of those things because that service needs restarting basically. And again, as we go further forward with the application, it's understanding all those things, those little niggles, and understanding what we do in the response to them and trying to figure out the process. And that's why I'm doing this now. I'm trying to put this piece into place so that I can keep testing these pieces and testing the process and understanding the tools that I need so I can confidently say I have enough to say I can recover from failure. I can understand where I failed, which means I can not spend a great deal of time debugging. And we can move on. But what I was going to say before is one of the things that's key here is I am saving this data in the source of truth, right? This information, the priority is save the information first, and then everything else can react to it. So I don't even figure out what's changed in here. I figure it out separately based on the event, because the event is what really matters to the rest of the system. It doesn't matter what data changes. If I track specific internal data in planning items here, it doesn't matter what changes there. So it's okay for them to have that extra process running to calculate differences. So when that information publishes, that's fine. Now, if there's a consumer of that information, one of the other tools that I'm building and will be spending a lot more time with is the ETL pipeline stuff, which is basically tools to extract the data from these data stores and insert them into other data stores so that I can create targeted scripts that understand, okay, well, this data is missing, populate it, and don't populate it if it exists, right? If this ID changes, etc. So allow me to stabilize the system. So in that event where I can't just go back and rerun Kafka, the the option is still available to me to just run a tool. Run a tool to just import the data. So yeah, that's going to be important later. But again, I don't want to just put try catches in here. I want to find these things by testing and if people say, oh, I added this and it doesn't work and I can't see it, then I can go back and replay it or look at the data. Yeah, that's what it is. Hey, Tricky Lady, by the way, if you're out of ads, I hope you are. I apologize. Okay, so we've got some better functionality there, right? We've improved that piece. Let's go and yeah, is that yeah, patching and show the planning item while pending. So commit and push. As I push this, it'll build the latest image. It'll build the next Docker image of the class of the client, and then I can just repull that. And, yeah, anyone testing it will be okay. Patrick, hello. How's it going? Good. How about yourself? That's that changed. So if we go back to the actual list, get your presents. Yeah, I got a few video games. I got a cool neon sign. Um, Mario mushroom, which I will get soon. And some books. Yeah, it was nice. By yourself. Man, my eyes are burning. Blender, nice. So if we go back to our tasks, fix UI task store loading all the time. We didn't do that one. We did. When I click on that, it loads from the store on the server and tries to remember which one it should show. Actually, not that problem. I was actually in progress on that one. That's fine. When we click on the backlog, it's always loading the content from server. Right. Okay. So this is the final one. Of the consistency pieces. So if I add a task, so again, let's remove the receivers. I can just whir away. That's... Mojo, good morning. How's it going? Okay, so let's turn off the receivers again, and then we can create a task and mimic this behavior. Oh dear. Merry crisis. Yeah. Yeah. There's okay, so we need to add a task. So adding a task should show in the task screen immediately. I'm not too sure about this one. And actually this might be caused by another problem. Let me, before I even start going down this path, let's look. So the one thing we learned the other day was the stores, if I want them to be global, have to be global. You can't create local versions. So we had the comments and stuff. There was a comment store in the planning item and a comment store outside all other projects. That's one. So I created one project store, right? Again, I think I'm not using signal stores correctly, and it would be good at some point to maybe get Exocamil to give this a once over and see how he would approach the design. Again, I'm not scared of redoing a lot of this stuff, right? It's not like I can't clean it up, but yeah. So the task screen has a sprint store, it does not have a tasks store. So the task store that it's using is the same one. So the problem is when I add a task, when I fetch a task, sorry, task query, I am loading from the server. Load all. So I'm just going to fetch all. If not, is it current? I've got set current, so I know about current is current. So the problem with doing this way, right? So what will happen now is when I go in here and add a task, adding a task works fine. This will show is my bet, right? So hit save, go to here, go to tasks, go here. He says with great confidence, and he's completely wrong. Oh, hold on there. Let's test that again. Wow. Not the bug I was looking for. I didn't do anything. I clicked back on there. How do you trigger that? How do you trigger reading hide? Oh well. Sprint selection. So it triggered sprint selection changed, and there was no detail, therefore hide failed. So that's an interesting one. Might as well fix it by printing. Use boards, components, sprint board. It doesn't error anymore, but it's not doing what I want it to do. So now it's deciding that it's not current, and therefore, or it is current, but it doesn't have what it's loaded. So that's weird. So let's remove that behavior we just added. Let's query. Go back. That one. Don't try hide when there's nothing to hide on sprint selection. So rather than get bogged down in the whole Kafka topics mess still on Kubernetes and tighten that up. So there's a few things that need to be done before I can move on entirely and move to allowing the testing to happen in parallel to planning new features and whatnot. The first thing is I need to figure out the Kafka retention. Right. The second, if I turn that machine off behind me and start the machine back up, all the Kafka messages are gone. The rest of the system will probably start up okay, but the Kafka messages will be gone. The once that's done and retention is there, then we're good for that, and the testing can continue. Again, what I'm doing right now is quality of life stuff. I'm just tidying up some of the little pieces that are not major projects, but they are things that people will report quite commonly as they start to test the application. So once this little batch is done, once that retention is done on the Kafka topics, then the application is generally stable enough. You can plan what comes next, and then it's a case of getting all the branches lined up and tightened up again so that there's an actual workflow. Decide on when things should be. Do I create a release to build these things, to run the workflows to do that, etc. I think I do. I think I basically merge to main and then create a release off main is how an actual release should go, and the packages should publish. That being said, I don't think that works necessarily well for all the different services. So again, it's just something that has to be considered and walked through. Anyway, any of you got any cards? Well, like Christmas cards, you mean? Or what do you mean? Nice. Don't do Christmas cards because we don't have any family to send Christmas cards to. So I don't do Christmas cards. So where's this going? I'm glad. Hi, Dad. Won't let you link. If that's what that was. It started out. So doing the tasks, task stores. Task store is down here. So the well. Yeah, it's trying to make progress. Features, product query, task query. Yeah, kind of fallen away from the cards thing very much. We don't really do a family card or anything like that. So the problem is when this screen loads, when I go it's loading every time. It sets current to true. What should have happened then is if not store is current, what this change should do is the first time it loads, it should. That's bad. That's bad. Yeah, that can't happen. It should fetch the ones for the sprint and patch. Oh, that's not good. I'm doing that really badly. Okay. This is a mistake. I'm overwriting the store with is that a method? I think that is a thing. I think update entities does exist. Updates a collection, yeah. Yeah. That's so what I need to do is when I click on the sprint, I need to patch in the pieces that are just for this sprint, right? what I'm failing to do there, what I was doing, I was setting all the entities. So when I clicked on the sprint, I was actually replacing all the contents of the store. But I don't want to do that. I want to focus the view, not change everything. Um, that can be calculated as well. But I'm doing fetch because I don't know if I have all the data, right? So this is, again, as I get further forward with learning about signal stores and stuff, I've got to understand all the different patterns for where the data is and how I should be using the data and client side stuff that I really don't want to do. If I'm honest, it's just not my forte. I cook from scratch a lot and often make cashew milk or something, but that means I need to press the blender button for 50 minutes straight. You got to be careful with the blender button for that long, right? A blender has to be pretty rugged to survive, because otherwise they burn out. The motors in them burn out really quick if you're not careful. Um, so I need to go to the docs for NGRX here, and I do call lifecycle, state tracking, update entities, entity management. Here we go. Update all entities. Hey, buddy. Hey, little buddy. Hello. Got a Taylor visiting me. My blender was still from 1983, so I deserved a new one. Yeah, definitely. Update all entities. Update. I swear there's an update entities, right? Update entities. Predicate. Changes. Updates multiple entities in the collection by IDs or predicate. Supports partial updates. No errors thrown. Update entities. Oh, I can't patch those particular entities. Predicate. Uh, yeah, so that's not for that style. That's not good. Let's just comment that out for a second. Things still might behave the way I want them to do, or might fail miserably. Network, GraphQL, data, sprints. Planning tasks. The inbox. So that's not working because that is happening there. Set current. There's my should patch state again. Can I pull that from the models? Model functions, do you work? Yes, you do. Okay. So now we got our shared version of that method, right? If you are new to the stream, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, you are more than welcome to ask. Doesn't matter whether you feel this is a little bit too advanced. It's always open for discussion. The dog just knocked the door wide open, and now there's a cold draft. Dogs never work with this stuff. Well, I appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. I, client-side stuff is not my favorite thing to do. I would sooner have someone else deal with this and me work on the back-end pieces. I'd love to get to things like the changes and all the advanced things there. Yeah. All those old electric materials are way better than new ones. The chance they'll break is small. Not too safe electricity-wise. Yeah. I think the phrase they don't build them like they used to, right? So why is this? So something tells me that I'm setting that to true and I'm not actually using that state. Refresh status feature. I'm still understanding the states and the yeah. I've touched Angular 1, but not enjoy that. Angular is something that I tried Angular, I tried React, I tried Vue, I tried others around the same time. I started with Angular JS many years ago. And it clicked, right? It just it worked for me. And I kind of like I feel productive in Angular, right? Um this application, the way this application's architected, this doesn't matter. If I wanted to switch to Blazor or I want to switch to a different framework later, I want to build something else. Um, um, I can do. I have that option, so it's open to me. But um, Angular just makes sense to me in terms of just the design. I like the separation of code from UI. I dislike that when it's merged all in one. It just drives me crazy. Yeah. What are you planning to do with your point system on Twitch? I'm not sure. I do have some ideas that revolve around this application, but I need to do a lot more development to get that working, and it would be gimmicky. So I've got to figure out how that plugs into this. But I'm not sure. One day I want to do something with them, but yeah. And Twitch don't. You have to put a lot of stuff in, a lot of effort into to gain points to be useful. Um, I don't actually think React is the best. I like Vue better already, and I've heard good things about Angular, but it's the most popular. Yeah, Vue is close, I think, but again, to me, right now, what matters most is productivity. Like, can I be productive? And with Angular, okay, I'm struggling in some places, but I can be productive. I know how to build the pages. I know how to get the layout. I've got all the pieces working for this to be usable. I don't want to reset and have to start on that. Um, um, So yeah, I can be productive. And again, this is actually a completely separate repository. Everything over here is its own repository, and everything here is its own repository. So I can switch this out. I can build a different client against the API. There's all sorts of the options. So um, what I'm looking for is I have done something silly here. So I'm still trying to figure out what. So I have these states, right? Then Um, the state of a store is kind of just a bunch of models pushed in to change the shape of the actual store, right? So you can combine many different models. So I can track, this is actually tracking entities and a state of fulfilled. So it says pending and fulfilled, right? These are the counter states to them. And then set current. So set current comes from here, which is my refresh state. So if I go up here with refresh status feature, right? So that's that one. And I set is current false, right? So in theory, when I start, the store is current is false. So the first time I go in there, it should load, but it's not loading, right? It's not even requesting it. So it's deciding that that's true, which is not right. So let's put in a debugger. Let's make sure. Well, we know it's definitely impacting things because it was changing things before. And this machine needs a restart, I think. Store is current. Oh, I'm a dingaling. Hold on, that should have actually worked. It's a signal. I need to invoke the signal to get the value. There you go. So go back, go back. What? Hey, Duca. How you doing? Happy holidays. I'm sorry I did not get to attend your stream yesterday. Unfortunately, it was the time I was in the kitchen preparing food. So basically, that should change the state of its current, and now when it comes back in here, it should be current and therefore not have to fetch. The idea being that as I add a task, I should be able to go into the screen and see the task appear because I've not loaded. If I fetch all from the server every time, I'm going to overwrite that task in the local store. And I'm not going to know when it's done. Most frustrating. You should render. It's not erroring. Oh, well. We go again. Preview tasks. So those are all the tasks. If we go back here and there, no network requests. Oh dear. Okay. Well, I'll have to pick that up tomorrow. So I'm really hoping, like, the application is testable, right? If you are a subscriber to the stream and you would like to test it, you're more than welcome to. There is a Discord channel linked in the cards below, and if your Twitch is linked with your Discord, you'll be able to see the instructions on that. I'm keeping it close to subscribers for right now because I really want to provide some level of reward and thank you for supporting the stream to those that are subscribed. So it is testable, but there's these little niggling things that I need to figure out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue, hopefully by the new year, I've tightened up some of these things. It's running smoothly. I can get to figuring out the deployment, get that piece working. And from there, move to new features and adding more into the application. So that, you know, early on next year, we have the sprints and stuff working. I want to get notifications working because they're a big part of what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Is one of the things I want to focus on is the whole notifications piece of the application, like telling you this changed, this updated, this this user moved this to review data, etc. That sort of stuff is going to get a little hard to test independently, but yeah, we might create a shared tenant and do it that way. So yeah, that's where we are. But unfortunately, I do not have infinite time. I do have a job to do today. So we are going to really get to yes. I'm going to raid someone that I don't often get to raid. So we're going to raid it's LJ. LJ is a developer building a game in Unity, and he streams an hour a day. His setup's a bit wonky because he's away for the holidays, But he's on day 600 of his building his game. He's doing all the animation. He's learning about Blender and doing all that sort of stuff. And I've not had the chance to raid him before because he's normally not streaming when I am. So we're gonna raid Yo, it's LJ. Thank you very much for joining me. I really hope you did have a good holiday if you celebrate it. I don't do raid messages. You've been here before. You know we don't do that. I'm not a super hype stream. So, so but just say hello. It'd be good to support LJ. He's been building. He's a really chill guy. Really great place to hang out. And yeah, he normally streams for at least an hour a day, and he's building his game, and it's coming along nicely. So thank you all for joining me. I will be back tomorrow for more of this, and take care. Have a good one all. Bye.